All right, my dear students. So let's have a discussion about this little show story, Open Window, written by Saki. I sent the video and the PDF document to the WhatsApp group. I hope that you all might have read it and you are ready to give your own opinions about the story. We'll start from Nathan. Nathan, you can tell your ideas about this. Open Window by Saki. Over to you, Nathan.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about this short film called The Open Window. This is a very interesting story because this can be analyzed in a variety of ways to figure out what is actually happening. So this is going to be my take on this story. The person known as Mr. Nuttall speaks about a disease he has called nervous exhaustion, and also that his doctors recommend for him to not get mentally excited. By the body language of Mr. Nuttall, we can sense a very nervous and cautious nature in him. We can assume that he was very freaked out by what the girl said, because at the end of the story, he immediately leaves after seeing the so-called dead family return. I personally believe that him being in an unfamiliar place made him imagine it all, and he just spooked himself out. Because from the record of his mental illnesses he has, we can assume that he also has a disease where he would completely imagine something idiotic when he's in a situation where he's tense and nervous. This is a real disease known as schizophrenia, where your mind will just imagine things and people that are not actually real. This is my explanation to the story, but we can just be blunt and just say that the girl was plainly fooling and playing tricks on this man for her own amusement. Because this can be backed up by the fact that she lies to her aunt at the end of the story on how the man had gotten chased by dogs and has some sort of trauma with dogs. But this brings up the question on why would she do this? Does she enjoy playing with people's minds, or does she have an ulterior motive? We can't say for sure, but over in all, I do think it was just her fooling around, because that's the most explainable answer. Thank you.
Very good, Nathan. Nicely explained. So I really like your tone, the pleasing tone that you used, and the rich vocabulary that you used in your speech, right? Nicely explained. Okay, so then let me explain the story to you. I think it is somewhat complicated, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, let me share the screen with you. Right, so now at the opening scene, so I'll off my video and explain. I hope that you all can hear me. Right, okay. Now this is the opening scene. You can see a big house. Right, please confirm. Can you hear the music? Oh, Bashi, can you hear the music?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Right, though this was named as Open Doors, the actual name of the story is Open Window, the Open Window.
will be down presently, Mr. Nuttall. In the meantime, you must try and put up with me.
Right. Okay. Now this girl is 15 years old, and so at the opening scene you can see now she's going to entertain a guest who has come to their house, and she tells, my aunt will be here soon. So meantime, so you have to keep company with me. Maybe let's have a talk. Please sit, Kiela. This girl is telling to this stranger.
It is very kind of you to wait with me.
Right, okay. Right now just see how clever this girl is. She wants to fool this person, and when the girl first looks at this person, when the girl at the first meeting, at the first glance of this person, the girl could recognize that this is a person that she can be fooled. නේද? දැන් මෙයා කොච්චර ක්ලෙවර්ද කියනවනම් මේ ගර්ල් මේ මිනිස්සයා ඉස්සෙල්ලාම දකින ඒ පළමු මේ දසුනේදීම එයා අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගත්තා මේ මිනිහ නම් මට හොඳට ගොනාට අඳන්න පුළුවන් මිනිහෙක් කියලා. නේද? හොඳට මේ හොඳ ලණුවක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කෙනෙක් කියලා මේ අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගත්තා. නේද?
Your aunt, Mrs. Sappleton. I'm looking forward to meeting her, I'm sure.
Do you know many of the people around here?
Right. Now this girl, first she wants to know whether this person knows about the people here in this house. That's why she is asking this question. Do you know many people around here? Neither do you know many facts about the people around here in this house?
Hardly a soul, I'm afraid. My sister stayed at the rectory 4 years ago, and she's given me some letters of introduction.
Right. Then this person tells, no, I don't know anything about the inmates, the people who are living in this house. Actually, I haven't met your aunt before. I haven't seen your aunt before. Your aunt and my sister, they had studied together. That's why my sister gave this letter of introduction to give your aunt, right? So then those days, there were no telephones. So the people, when they want to send a message, they wrote letters, and they sent little notes like things with the people to produce to another person as a letter of introduction, right? Now this to this man, the doctor has recommended him to go to a calm and quiet place to take some rest. That's why, so his sister has given a letter to him to give this girl's aunt. Now this man's sister and this girl's aunt are friends. Now that lady is sending this man with the letter telling that, please, this is my brother, please accept him, and if you can, please give him some accommodation to stay there at your place for a few days, because the doctors recommended him to get a rest. Okay?
Oh.
Oh?
Then you know practically nothing about my aunt.
I know her name and address.
Right, okay. So then the girl again asks the questions to confirm that this person knows nothing about the aunt, right? Then the man tells, yes, I know only the name and the address. That is what that I know about your aunt. I haven't seen even a picture of her.
Her great tragedy happened just 3 years ago. That would be...
Right, you don't know. A great tragedy happened 3 years ago. අවුරුදු 3කට කලින් ලොකු ඛේදවාචකයක් වුණානේ, great tragedy එකක් වුණානේ. ඔයා දන්නේ නැද්ද ඒක ගැන?
After your sister's time.
A tragedy?
You may wonder why we keep these French doors open on such a cold afternoon.
Right. Well, somewhere you may be wondering, why do we keep the big window open in this cold afternoon? නේද මේ වගේ cold afternoon එකක ඔයා බලනවා ඇති අපි ඇයි මේ ලොකු ජනේලේ අරලා තියන්නේ කියලා.
It is quite warm for the time of year.
Out through those doors, 3 years ago to a day, my aunt's husband and her 2 sons went off for their day's shooting.
Right. So then the girl tells, 3 years ago, right, on a day like this, my aunt, husband, and some 2 other gentlemen went out of these windows for hunting. That is the way that they took when they want to go out for this wood, for the woods to do hunting with their hounds. Hound කියන්නේ කාටද දඩයන් බල්ලොත් එක්ක ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ ජනලෙන් තමයි යන්නේ. එතට කැලේට යන ළඟ ඇති. ජනලෙන් ලොකු ජනලයක් තියෙනවා. ඒතර ඒකෙන් එහා පැත්තට යන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියනවා.
They never came back.
But they never came back. Hunting ගියපු මේ කට්ටිය ආපහු ආවේ නෑලු.
Crossing the moor to their favourite snipe shooting ground, all 3 were engulfed in a treacherous piece of bog. Their bodies were never recovered.
Right, අයියෝ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ bodies වත් හම්බුනේ නැහැනේ. නේද? ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ dead bodies වත් හම්බුනේ නැහැ.
That was the awful part of it. No grave, no marker. Poor aunt thinks that they will come back someday.
Right, එතකොට ආන්ටි හිතනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ bodies හම්බෙච්ච නැති නිසා මේ 3 දෙනා ආපහු කවදා හරි එයි කියලා. නේද? ඒගොල්ලන්ට grave එකක් හදලා මේ මොන හරි මේ ගලක් වගේවත් තියලවත් නැහැ ආන්ටි. ආන්ටි හිතන් ඉන්නේ මේගොල්ලන් ජීවතුන් අතර ඉන්නවා. ආයෙත් කවදා හරි එයි කියලා තමයි හිතාගෙන ඉන්නේ කියලා කියනවා.
They and a little brown Labrador that was lost with them.
අයියෝ චූටි බල්ලෙක් ලැබ්‍රෝ බල්ලෙකුත් ඒගොල්ලත් එක්කම ගිහලා lost වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ hound කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ දඩයන් බල්ලෙක්.
Walk in as they used to. She spends hours sitting, waiting, watching through the open doors. She won't allow them to be shut until it's dark outside.
Right now what aunt is doing, right, every day at this time she sits hours and hours there at the window waiting for her husband and the 2 other gentlemen to come.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do sit down, Mr. Nuttall. That was done shortly before they... Poor dear aunt. She's often told me of how they went out. Her husband with his waterproof coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her eldest son, teasing her. The tea'd better be ready when we return, Mama, else there'll be hell to pay. Do you know? Sometimes, on still, quiet evenings like this, I almost get a feeling that they will all just walk in through those doors.
I'm terribly sorry for keeping you waiting, Mr. Nuttall. I hope Vera has been amusing you.
She has been very interesting.
Oh, I hope you don't mind the French doors. My husband and my sons will be home directly from shooting, and they always come in this way.
Right, so the aunt doesn't know anything about this conversation. So then she came and told, so I don't mind if we keep this window open at this hour. So my husband and the sons, they will return soon from this window. Right? They went off for hunting.
They've been out for snipe in the marshes today, so they'll make a fine mess of my carpets. Typical of you menfolk, isn't it?
Right. So now Auntie is telling right now, I'm sure that they would come with mud in their boots. So they are going to spoil my beautiful carpets with mud. Typical menfolk. Right? කියලා නම් කියනවා නේද? ඒක මිනිසුන්ගේ හැටි තමයි නේද? කිසි සැලකිල්ලක් නැතුව හේනවා ගෙදරට කියලා කියනවා. Now this man also has entered the house with muddy boots. Right? Now he is going to hide his feet.
They're calling it nervous exhaustion. It's in the family. As you know, my sister...
Is the tea ready? Make sure it is.
Right? And this lady rings the bell to signal the maid to prepare tea.
I seem to remember your sister. Yes. Sweet lady. Yes, your sort don't come down so much anymore. I hope your stay will be peaceful. Are you a shooting man, Mr. Nuttall? Milk?
Just a little.
It hasn't been the same these last few years. The rain and the mud, you see. It's made an infernal quagmire at the marshes.
The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest. An absence of mental excitement.
All right. Now he talks nothing else rather than his illness. නේද? මෙයා කතා කරන්නේ යාගේ ලෙඩේ ගැන විතරයි. වෙන කිසිම දෙයක් ගැන කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. Now he is telling his doctors advise him to take complete rest without experiencing any mental excitement. The mental excitement වලින් away වෙලා ඉන්න කියලා තමයි doctorsලා කියලා තියෙනවා.
And anything in the nature of violent physical exercise.
Right? And the doctors had advised him not to involve in any physical exercise. දුවන පනින නේද? කය වෙහෙසන වැඩ කරන්න එපා කියලා තමයි කියලා තියෙන්නේ.
On the subject of diet, though, they're not in such agreement.
No. Oh, here they are at last. And don't they look as if they're muddy up to the eyes?
Better be ready, Mama.
Oh, you're covered in mud.
Oh, fairly muddy, my dear, but most of it's dry. They'll need to get used to it if we go to war.
Oh, please, let's not talk about that.
We'll be home by Christmas, you'll see. Check.
Who was that who bolted out as we came up?
The most...
Right. Now this uncle is asking who is the man who bolted out when we came in. නේද? කවුද අර නිකන් dash නේද? ඉක්මනට දුවර ගියේ කවුද මේ මිනිහා කියලා අහනවා. නේද?
Extraordinary man. A Mr. Nuttall. He talked about nothing but his illnesses, and then he dashed off without a word of goodbye or apology when you came in.
Right. extraordinary meaning he spoke nothing about rather than his illness නේද යා මොනවත් කතා කරේ නෑ යාගේ illness එක ගැන විතරයි කතා කරේ ඕගොල්ලන් එනකොටම he dash out නේද without giving saying goodbye or apology මොකද යන්නේ කියලා කියන්න නැතුව මෙන්න දුවලා ගියා.
I expect it was the Labrador. He told me he had a horror of dogs.
Alright, මම හිතන්නේ අපේ බල්ලා තමයි හේතුව. එයා මට කිව්වා එයා බයයි කියලා බල්ලොන්ට.
He was once hunted into a cemetery on the banks of the Ganges by a pack of pariah dogs and had to spend the night in a newly dug grave with the creatures snarling and grinning and foaming.
අයියෝ මෙයාට වෙලා තියෙනවා හරි මේ unfortunate incident එකක් නේද? මෙයාට මේ grave yard එකක මේ බහැලා ඉන්න වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ ළඟදී කපපු නේද? එයා වට කරගෙන ඉඳලා තියෙනවා. Pariah dogs, that means stray dogs නේද? ඔය වල්පාලු ටිකක් වට කරගෙන ඉඳලා තිනවා මෙයාව කන්න වගේ බලාගෙන. ඒ නිසා මම බලවට බයයිලු.
Just above him. Enough to make anyone lose their nerve, I dare say.
That is the end of the story. And it was written in 1870. It was written during the period of Saki, 1870 to 1916. Okay. So now what happened in the story? Right? So why did this girl behave like this? What's the writer Saki? Saki is his pen name. I want all of you to do a little survey to find the real name of this writer Saki. And Saki is not his real name. That is his pen name. Right? So now what does the writer want to convey from this little story? The writer wants to convey the power of little kids. Now see this little kid, little girl, right? She could oversmart all the adults. She fooled all the adults in the story. No one could escape. She fooled Mr. Nuttall, her aunt, the uncle, and the two cousins as well. Right? Okay. So now when the uncle came and asked, why did this man run away when we came? So then what did the girl said? She gave a reason, a very practical, a very reliable reason for the man's escape. And nobody suspected her. Understood? Right? So now you may be thinking that it's not, that is not a good thing, that the girl did really something that you can't approve, because right now sometimes that man, Mr. Nuttall, would die because of the mental excitement that he had got. Right? Then the girl will regret her entire life for the thing that she had done. She will live with regret and guilty feelings. That is true. But this writer, that Saki, always, he wrote stories, many stories, to highlight the potentials, the capacity of little kids. He wanted to emphasize that the size and age cannot determine the ability. I repeat, the size and the age cannot determine the ability. Understood? Okay. And this now this has some irony also. That is, when the kids, for the kids, I mean, when you were small, still you are small, right? What do your adults, the parents, what do they say? They expect you not to lie. They expect the little kids, the adults, expect the little kids always to speak the truth, don't they? Huh? So, but they want you to speak the truth all the time. But sometimes they try to fool you, telling some stories to make certain things done by you. Am I right? Right, first one. Little kids, the parents, they tell lies to fool the little kids. They tell, right now see the police is coming to catch the babies who are not sleeping. Eat this. Now you can see there is a monster behind that tree. The monster will come and touch you if you don't eat this, if you don't sleep. Right? So telling all those little lies, the adults, they try to fool the little kids, but they expect the little kids to speak the truth all the time. That is the hypocrisy of the adults. නේද? ඒගොල්ලන් කියන්නේ එකක් කරන්නේ එකක්. Hypocrisy. එකත් ඒකේ adults වගේ මේ කතාවෙන් සාකච්ඡා වෙනවා. Right? Okay. And as Nathan pointed out, now you can talk about the unusual, extraordinary, the weird behavior of this person, Mr. Natter. He is highly concerned about his illness. Right? So he is an introvert. We can figure out some certain amount of selfishness in his character. And the other ironical factor is this girl's aunt actually cannot remember this person's sister. She tells, yes, I can hardly remember your sister. Yes, she's a sweet lady. Actually, the aunt cannot recognize who this lady is who has sent the brother to her household. That is also an ironical factor. Right? And but you can talk about how the writer became successful in his motive. What was his motive? He wanted to highlight, he wanted to emphasize the ability, the potential, the capacity of kids. Sometimes they can oversmart the adults. Sometimes they are smart than the adults. Sometimes they are intelligent than the adults. And adults, what do they say? They say they don't give their ear to the kids. They tell, what do these little kids know? We are the people who know everything. Right? What can they suggest us? What can they tell us? They don't listen to them. But sometimes the little kids, they have marvelous ideas. Sometimes they are matured to solve problems than the adults. They try to grasp the world in a different way, in a different angle. Right? So I can see that you all are trying to grasp can allagan the world in a different way, in your own. Okay. So this also I think the story also tells the generation gap, right? How do the kids think and how do the elders think? There's a generation gap. That is called the generation gap. So I think you should watch the movie and also you have to read the PDF document that I sent you. The language is somewhat advanced and complicated, but try to read it and don't try to skim. Use the technique of skimming. Just scan. හරිද? ස්කෑන් කරන්න. ස්කිම් කරලාම යන්න එපා. ස්කිම් කරලා කියවන්න ගියොත් ඒක ගොඩාක් වෙලා යනවා කියනවා. හරිද? ඒකට ස්කෑන් කරලා අලුත් words දෙක තුනක් විතරක් අල්ලගන්න. ඕක හැම word එකකම ඔයා ස්කිම් කර මේකේ තේරුම මොකද්ද කියවන්න ගියොත් කවදාවත් එහෙම කියවන්න බෑ. හරිද? ඒක ලිමිට් එක හැම දෙයකම ලිමිට් එකක් තියාගන්න. එක මොනවා හරි කියවන ආටිකල් එකකින් වචන 5ක් 6ක් විතරක් අලුතෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්න. තවත් වචන තියෙනවා තමයි ඒකේ ඔක්කොම ඉගෙන ගන්න යන්න එපා. හරිද? හොඳයි. එතකොට ඒකේ මේ බලන්න එක කොහොමද රයිටර් දැන් මේ ස්ටෝරි එකට අපි බලපු වීඩියෝ එකට වඩා ඒක කොහොමද එයා ලියලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා. නේද? ඒ ලියපු ස්ටයිල් එකෙනොත් irony, humor, arouse කරන විදිහට තමයි ආයක ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. හරිද? Okay then. I think the time has come to wrap up this session. Right, so I'm going to stop this recording.